Welcome to LegitStreetCars and welcome to another SVT Lightning video. In this one, we have to somehow, some way, get this gigantic mess of a shop all put back together in a really clean, nice, tight bundle onto this frame, this beautiful coated frame. And we have to get an engine on it, and we have to get shiny headers on it, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that we forgot about. It's going to be kind of a big mess, but we're going to have a good time doing it. Peter, do you remember where anything goes?
I remember where nothing.
Nothing, yeah. I'm in the same boat.
Those, I think, go on the engine.
Okay. I think this big, gigantic tank goes somewhere on the frame.
Yeah, that tank goes that way.
Okay.
And the fuel lines connect to the tank.
Okay, all right. That's pretty much all we need.
Yeah.
All right, guys, all kidding aside, we need to get this new engine with this big blower onto the frame and literally everything ready to go back together because we need to have this thing on the road now in 9 days. This thing is going on a semi-truck trailer in 9 days, and it's going to be shown at 15 car shows throughout the entire nation. I'll leave that information linked down below if you want to come see the Lightning. I'll be at a couple of them. But not only do we have a ton of mechanical work to do here, but eventually we need to make the truck look show-worthy as well. So anyway, with that, let's get right into work. Our first step of this madness is to press out a leaf spring bushing that we need to replace because we had to cut the bolt head off, and it was a big mess, but here we go. All right, so I just want to officially say it's improper tool usage to use an impact on one of these ball joint tools, but if it's yours, you can do whatever you want. All right, there's our bushing, and there's our bolt stuck in there. All right, here we go, going back in. Like butter. Look at that, like butter. Like olive oil. I mostly cook with olive oil. I'm Italian.
What do you say olive oil in Italian?
Olio di oliva.
Olio di oliva.
Olio di oliva. Like butter is come il burro. But I don't know how to say that with the, the New York. We're also going to replace the rear leaf spring bushings as well. I say it's very satisfying to push these guys out. There we go. There's a little bit of silicone spray. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. And if you're really strong, you just push this in. You can't do that. You need tools. And there you have it, brand new leaf spring bushing. All right, so right now I'm replacing a bunch of these Evap hoses. I mean, they are everywhere. So these are new, everything is new except for this guy here. And this one's a great example of why I'm replacing these. These are so brittle. A lot of them literally broke apart just like this, just by removing all of these lines in this harness and everything. So they gotta go. We don't need a check engine light for this later. All right, so it's easiest just to use a razor blade, cut these off. They've been on for so long. It can be difficult to slide them off, so I just do that. And I desperately need to buy a hose cutting tool. This is no way to do this, especially at scale. I'm replacing like probably 8 different hoses right now. I have to cut them with a razor blade. So I'm able to reuse some of these hose clamps, which is nice. And then we line them up nice and factory. Look at that. Some of these ends are a little bit fatter and it just won't fit, so I had to use a universal clamp. And this is just fuel injection hose. You don't want to use coolant hose or anything like that, although fuel won't be going through this. Fuel vapors will be. So get the right kind of hose or it'll eat it up. Here are all the old Evap hoses I replaced. Each end of these could be a potential leak. It could leak from right in the middle of the hose. Look at this. This feels so good to eliminate all these potential problems. All right, so I know we're supposed to be putting things back together, and we are. We have to take one last thing apart. Actually, 2 of them. We're doing both bumpers. Oh, there we go. We cannot go to all these shows with a bumper that's all scuffed up like this and like this. And, I mean, just look at this thing is all kind of beat up. We need to get these holes plugged for the license plate. We're not running a front plate. And yes, in Illinois, you're supposed to have a front plate, but most of us car guys in states where you're required to have a front plate, we just don't run them, okay? We accept the ticket every so often, and that's it, because I'm not drilling in. I'm not going to do it. Peter, are you going to do it?
I'm not going to deface the front of my car with
Exactly.
license plates,
Yeah.
no.
All right. So anyway, we're sending this over to O'Hare Auto Body in Bensenville, Illinois. They're going to work their magic on this one and the rear bumper. And we're going to send them the rear bumper cover as well and have them fill this in. Someone had installed a bumper-mounted trailer hitch ball, which I'm not ever going to use, and it looks nasty and rusty. So we'll fill that in. We'll be good to go. All right, guys. We're about ready to install this gigantic harness with all these lines. I really don't even remember how this goes. But I know it runs along this side. And, hang on now, I have it going the wrong way. There we go. And we'll just plop it over. Peter, you want to do the rest? I did most of it. Everything that's attached to the frame, essentially. Found a really good video on how to put all this back together. That's beautiful. We're going to be able to get all of this. It was funny. So my mom saw the truck after we had just lifted the cab. Yeah. What are you talking about your mom for? Who's going to put that all together? And I'm like, me, Mom. She always forgets that, like, I'm a mechanic. And I'm like, me, this is what I do. She's like, really? How are you going to do all that? And she hasn't seen nothing yet. My mom was right. I have no idea how to put this back together. And apparently I also did not film much of me taking it apart, so I have no reference point now. So yeah, she was right. I found where the fuel filter goes. This is huge. I'm pretty sure it goes right here. Yes, that seems to line up. And if that's the case, this should do something like this. Yes, I have a center point. Now I know where everything kind of branches out from here. So, okay, I might actually be able to do this. I know what you're thinking, Alex. Oh my gosh, look at this rusted nut. What are you doing? I just want to explain to you guys the difference between a frame-off restoration and a while you're in there type of project. That's what this is. I wasn't supposed to do this, all right? I didn't purposely go in thinking I'm going to do a frame-off and order every little nut and bolt, and I'm not doing that now, okay? That is a fine nut that's going to secure that fuel filter for the rest of time, and I'm not going down the rabbit hole of replacing every little tiny thing that doesn't look as good as this frame. There's gonna be people in the comment section that bring stuff up like this. Like, you should have gotten a new sleeve there. I should have gotten a new parking brake cable because of this. Get a new nut there, a new bracket there, a new this there, and this project literally never gets done. All right, but you know what I will do? Bam. There you go. There's some brand new hardware for you. Sweet. Stuff is happening, people. It is happening. I'm almost positive that goes underneath there. I think. Oh my gosh, this is such a mess. I will prevail, Lightning. Always take pictures taking stuff apart. I don't know if I did that. It's been so long I don't even remember if I took pictures. I've probably gotten like 3 new SD cards since we filmed this, so I'd have to go look through all of it. I think I'm just gonna suffer through and just figure this out. I had to take those 2 brackets off that I just painted. Everything goes through the frame here is what I just found from my old video. And now this is all kind of coming back to me. This harness goes through there as well. Just needed a head gasket. You just pop the head off, replace the head gasket. Then it just needed a piston. Fine. Just take the motor out, leave everything sitting exactly where it was, and just rebuild the motor. No one's ever gonna see this stuff, but nope, we had to do this. All of this madness. I mean, I'm gonna pretend that like this was the plan after it's all done and everything's perfect and I'm keep this truck for many, many years to come and pretend that I did this on purpose, but these videos, they'll make me never forget. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, pushing it down there. Look at this factoryness. Woo! We're getting there. All right, guys, we got some new hardware for these rear leaf springs. So I'll just grease them up a little bit. You can use anti-seize. This is caliper grease. It's going to prevent corrosion. Not that this truck is ever going to be driven in anything anymore, but, you know. And then on the bottom one, I just greased it up. Good to go there. All right, I got the fuel filter back in. And,
Out and in and out.
Out and in, yes, many, many times. Look at this, Peter. Rust here and rust here. You know what that means? This goes here. Look at that. Figuring it out. And then this has to be right here. And there are 2 holes that it could fit into. I'll take it. Bam. Bam, look at this. Look at this. So exciting. Ooh, there's more. I don't remember where these go. Oh, I found it. Found it. Little clip right there. And a clip right here. Let's just keep rolling with this party. It's gotta be this one, right? Bam. This one broke off many moons ago. Yeah, it used to go right here. We kind of painted over it, but that's okay. I'm not ashamed to use a zip tie. All right, I'm getting a little carried away with the paint here because of how good the frame looks. So these shields, I gotta do something here. This is some high temperature silver paint. So we have our before and our after. We're driving the rear wheels to move this in. All right, I like it. All right, so we got these gigantic bolts. These were a pain to actually find, but we did find them. All right, so we had to cut this bolt down a little bit, even though it said it was for this vehicle. All right, it's fuel tank time, people. And this time it doesn't have any fuel in it. All right, where does this fuel tank go? This is the driver's side, right?
I think these things go here.
We got about like 30, 40 gallons of fuel in here. So I gotta be the one to pick it up. Peter just doesn't have the muscle, honestly. It's coming down too. So there you go, Peter. I got all day. Got all day. It's not that heavy. Pretty nice weather this week. All right, there's one. Oh yeah, this is looking good. You know, we've been bolting parts on for the last 24 hours, but this looks like we've done something.
Oh, yeah, also it makes the chassis look much better.
Like if the general public walked in, like yesterday, they'd be like, you've done absolutely nothing. But today, they'd be like, it's almost done.
We can almost drive it, yeah?
We can almost drive it. Like the Flintstones. All right, let's go. We're moving. I haven't felt the power of the Lightning in a while. Whoa. Okay, we just crashed. So these guys actually turned out really nice with a little bit of silver spray paint. All right, moving along to the ABS pump and a freshly painted bracket. Bolting this bad boy onto the frame. And we'll hook up our brake lines now. Definitely start these guys by hand like that. You don't want to strip out the fittings going into the ABS pump. And then see how this is all garbled up? That's because someone wasn't using a line wrench. All right, next up we have power steering gearbox. We have to snap this little bracket back in. And we painted the gearbox. It wasn't leaking or anything, so it was a good candidate. We also painted the factory power steering pump as well. So everything is nice and purty. All right, so we're gonna swap our AC compressor onto this engine. And I'm just gonna swap all of this because they cut the line and I never discharged the AC system on the Lightning, so we could just swap the compressor back on and we don't have to charge it back up. This does look to have been replaced at some point. It's got a sticker right here, so it's probably a good compressor. All right, woo. Just took the starter off because we need to remove the transmission, put a torque converter back in, and then reinstall the transmission because we just put it on here to hold the starter in the last video so we could hear if this engine functioned at all. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, guys, so we have a brand new torque converter from my friends at Circle D. They make the best torque converters ever. I've run a few of these, including in my Caprice PPV, and let me tell you, that thing launches like a bat out of hell. Where does that term come from, bat out of hell?
Maybe like when bats come out of caves and they're like, gotta get food, I don't know.
I think it launches like a really hungry bat just coming out of its cave. That's what I think. Hell's just a little too, it's kind of an extreme, don't you think? Anywho, there we go. Oh, look at this beauty. These converters are so beautiful. I love them. All right, so remember, you got to spin it on. Kind of find its little happy groove spot. There we go. All right, going back in. Oh, our engine's running away. We used some longer bolts so we could have the transmission separated from the engine just enough to see that. See that stud right there? That is the torque converter going through the flex plate. So we had to line that up just perfectly. Otherwise, you'll be binding when you're going back together. All right, so we have this set up on this to lift this in the air. Go ahead and cut these straps. This is very dangerous. Don't cut yourself on this. All right. Ah, no. How does this have any more trans fluid in it?
After most of it already got out.
And we got at least 1 ounce in here. I'm really not too worried about a little spilled transmission fluid. I wanted to do a service anyway using the AMSOIL 100% synthetic transmission fluid. Of course, we're going to be using the AMSOIL coolant. And I'll leave a link down below that'll get you 25% off all AMSOIL products, including their famous synthetic engine oil, which comes in many different flavors. And they have oil filters, air filters, fuel filters. They pretty much have everything you need. And their My Garage system, even if you don't use AMSOIL, is totally free and very helpful. It'll give you all of the capacities and even torque specs, so you don't have to scour the internet for bad information. And all of my cars run AMSOIL synthetic, including the Caprice PPV, and just listen to it. Rise up, my son. Evenly, yes. Nice. All right, we had to adjust the old leveler to get this to happen, so we don't have any more trans fluid leak out. All right, so we gotta get the nuts off of the trans mount so it'll fit in. I was planning on using this, which we might still do, but so we eventually gotta ship an engine to someone. We'll have to do some carpentry on that guy.
Legit street carpentry?
It's happening, people. My Lightning is getting an engine. I'm connecting the two right now. This is so exciting.
Wait, for the thumbnail, can we get, you know that shot in Avengers where Captain America, he's holding onto the building, he's holding onto the helicopter, it's like this big bicep flex. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, not really, but like I don't have that big of biceps. We're swapping the headers out for the shiny new ones, but not until this engine's here because I don't want to scratch them. So I just realized that the bracket that we already have on the frame is attached to this used engine.
You go down?
I think we go down.
I'm gonna do this slowly.
Okay. I like slow.
You're gonna need to come forward.
Okay. Okay, Peter.
It's very sensitive.
That was not slow.
Was it in? Is it in?
It's almost
in the
the
back
trans
it
is
is.
in.
Yep.
Okay.
You almost scratched the top of the frame that no one will ever see. Oh, that was a good sound.
Was it?
How's yours?
Mine's been in.
Oh, okay. I mean, I wouldn't say mine's like 100% in. It's like 64% in, but it's getting there.
I think that's it.
It's in.
Oh!
It's in. We have an engine and a transmission on a frame. We did it. Wow, this is becoming so much more real now. I mean, there's still obviously a ton of work to do, but this is awesome. I wonder what we're going to realize we forgot to do before putting the engine here. That's now going to be a ton more work to do because we already put the engine. We should leave this.
Yeah.
We should
yeah,
literally
that's a
just
good
leave this and like, we're going to do the headers right now and accessories and stuff like that. We should just leave this here. I'm not even going to put in an engine mount bolt yet because that's how much confidence I have in Peter and I's abilities.
As my friend Alex says, goose egg of things we forgot. 0.
Yeah, right. All right, guys, we're going to swap these headers out. And at first, I thought that these dents in the headers were because of the steering shaft, but that goes somewhere over here. The lightning that this engine came out of was in a front end collision. And now I'm wondering, did these headers hit the frame? Like there's a dent right here that would line up with this, and another one right here that could line up with this. Man, that must have been a really bad accident. All right, we got to hit these crusty bolts with some penetrating oil. Probably should have done this a few days ago, but I forgot. All right, well, I have new header bolts, so not the end of the world if these kind of pull the studs out, which they definitely are going to. Oh, yeah. Hey, the nut came off. All right. All right, 20 minutes later, I'm on the last one. This actually wasn't too bad. It's just you have to get a few different kinds of tools in here to make it all happen. And yes, probably would have been easier not on the frame. But those headers are just too nice. I don't want to scratch them. No, we got a stud coming out. Oh, yes. There we go. All right, we got to get this dipstick tube out of the way. I forgot about that from the last time we were here. Well, maybe with the exhaust manifolds, we didn't have to do this, I guess. Come on, header. Get out of here. All right, I was wrong to have not done the headers with the engine out. Luckily, we still have the chain hooked up. I'm gonna end up scratching the new ones just trying to fit it in there. Just getting these out is a pain. I don't wanna scratch up the valve covers either. There we go. All right. Wow, yeah, this guy is beat up, man. Look at this. This is definitely from the accident. Is there a slide on the bottom one? This side is much easier because all the studs came out. And yeah, oh, there's slides on the bottom. Huh, okay, there you go. That was easy. Before we install the new shiny headers and the exhaust that connects to it, we have to install the torque converter nuts, and they give you a little bit of Loctite with them as well. That's very important. And as you can see, we have all this access right here with no exhaust manifold, so we definitely want to do this now. Go ahead and start these by hand. So I like to tighten these all up first, and then we'll go around and torque them. All right, so right now Peter is just turning the engine over. And keep going. Keep going. Right there. That's good. And here's our last one. Torqued. We're good. All right, and then Ford gives you this sweet little plastic plug right here that you just pop right back in, and you're done. So I found these headers on the eBay Motors app. Really good price, really good reviews. They look fantastic, and I do think the primaries are larger than the old headers.
This one's going to be easier to install too, because I think it looks like there's bigger room here. The primaries move away from the head before they bend, whereas the other ones bend almost immediately, so it's really hard to get that dipstick tube in between them.
All right, enough header talk. Let's get these new headers installed, and we'll bolt up the rest of the exhaust that came with the kit too. All right, got to do a little swing with the oil dipstick to get it to go. And then we notched the header gaskets, so we can just slide these in from the top now, like that. And we have some new hardware as well. All right, let's just start these new bolts by hand, like so. I don't want our tool scratching up the headers at all. I will sacrifice my own finger to make that happen. One day, soon, you'll be bolted up to a forged engine with cylinder heads that have 8 threads cut into them from the factory. I know it's an amazing concept, but you will be there. All right, we'll tighten these guys up by hand. It's really difficult to get a torque wrench on header bolts, especially the lower ones. So just a nice good in tight, maybe a 20 to 25 foot-pounds, something like that would be normal. Okay, get the oil dipstick back. Why do we have a bee in the shop? Get out of here. Ah! It's literally attacking me. Is it on me? No, he's gone. My gosh, just got attacked by a bee. Okay, Peter.
All right. Now that that's over?
Now that that attack from an insect is over, let's lower this thing. Okay. All right, Peter is disconnecting the engine hoist, and I'm gonna secure these fuel lines right now. So this bracket goes right over here. Goodbye, cherry picker. We won't see you for, well, like another 3 months or so. All right, we'll click in these fuel lines. And even though the Lightning didn't have these originally, we'll snap these guys in. When we took the original engine out of the Lightning, these weren't clipped in, so apparently you don't really need them, but if they're there, why not? All right, there we go. Fuel lines are looking good, routed properly. We just gotta pop in this guy. All right, guys, we're going back together with the dual Walbro pumps. And I was gonna replace the socks, but these are specific to Walbro and they're super clean, in good shape. So I'm not gonna wait days and days to get some socks in, some strainers, if you will, for the fuel pumps. We're just gonna run these bad boys. Always be careful with the fuel sending unit level. You don't wanna bend this arm, it's very fragile. It's crazy, I looked up how much the dual fuel pump setup cost for the Lightning if you just order it up from one of the many companies that put these together. And it's like $500-600 for this. This came with the engine. The mass airflow sensor that came with the engine's $250. It also came with those headers that we're not gonna be using, but it came with the coolant tank as well. A bunch of O2 sensors, which are actually really expensive. So lots of little add-ons that I got with this temporary engine. But most importantly, we got the big Eaton supercharger that we're gonna be swapping onto the forged unit. I'm really excited for that. This thing is gonna scream. All right, fuel system is complete. We have all of the lines attached just like factory going into our powerful Walbro pumps, and it's looking good. We're getting there. We're really getting there. Look at this thing. This is amazing, especially considering what it looked like at the beginning of this video. So let's wrap up a few more things here, like this power steering pump. And this is the original one from the Lightning that we're swapping over. All right, we'll get this power steering bracket back on. All right, guys, it's time to put the aftermarket exhaust together. See how this thing is gonna line up. There's our little donut. And these face inwards. This part is threaded, so that's kind of nice. They say they give you really, really long bolts for this. Kind of a little unnecessary, I must say. I gotta say, so far so good with this eBay exhaust system. I think I paid like $300 for this entire kit, the headers and everything. A lot of good reviews, a lot of Lightning guys use these. I found some alternatives that looked really nice, but as you can imagine, they were really expensive too. All right, then we got these little slip-on guys. And we'll take this pipe and slide it right in and do the same over here. All right, this might actually fit with the rest of the catback on the truck. It has a Flowmaster muffler welded in, so we'll see. Might not be spot on, but we're close. All right, me and Peter just messed around to see if the factory catback, well, it's not factory, it's got a Flowmaster, but the factory tailpipes with the Flowmaster would fit with these headers, and they do. I mean, it's not perfect yet. We're not done, obviously, and this looks kind of gross, but this is gonna work. We don't have to bring it to the exhaust shop, which is a big deal because we don't really have much time at all to get this done. So in the next video, you'll see the completed exhaust. It'll look a lot prettier than this. All right, guys, that'll do it for today's video. We are so close with the Lightning. We have one more video for this thing to be complete and on a truck going to its first event for the eBay Parts of America tour. So in the next one, we're putting it all back together. It's gonna have freshly painted bumpers. The exhaust will be done. Everything will be put back together and we will be driving this car. It'll be detailed and done for these events. So I hope you guys will join us for that. And so if you've enjoyed this one, give it a big thumbs up, share the video with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and most importantly, have an awesome day. I'll catch all of you in the next video.